American Top 40!
Now we're up to the number 2 spot. It's the top woman in our world survey, and if any woman personifies American pop in this decade, she's the one. See if you can recognize this voice.
Yeah. And it is our culture. I mean, that's the, the street culture and stuff. That's what you can say is ours. It's America's, It's not stuff that we got from, it's not folk stuff that we got from Germany or, Austria or England or France or any place else. It's really, American culture.
And she's brought it to the world. At number 2 on American Top 40's World Tour from Bay City, Michigan, here's Madonna.
Casey's biggest hits.
5 years ago this week, one of the biggest hits in the USA was the title song from the movie Who's That Girl? By a superstar who had to learn to bat, run, and slide for her latest movie. For his part in Raging Bull, Robert De Niro had to learn to box. And for her role in the film A League of Their Own, this outspoken superstar had to learn the fine art of baseball. She'd never played ball in her life, and so she spent months with a trainer learning how to hit, catch, throw, run, slide, and bunt. All the things she'd need to do for a role as a member of an all-woman team. And she got pretty good at it, too. Though she isn't much of a long ball hitter, she says she can regularly knock a ball between second and third for a good solid hit. And she's also very good at scoring hits on the charts. Big hits, like the song that was one of the biggest hits in the USA 5 years ago this week. Here's Who's That Girl by Madonna.
Casey's biggest hits.
6 years ago this week, back in 1986, one of the biggest hits in the USA was True Blue by a superstar who once worked hanging up coats in one of New York's fanciest restaurants. It was back in 1979 that this singer and dancer from Michigan was working hard trying to make it in the Big Apple. Things weren't going very well, and she had to take a lot of odd jobs. One of them was checking coats at the famous Russian Tea Room restaurant right next to Carnegie Hall. She was paid $4.50 an hour plus tips, which she thought was pretty good. But even better was the fact that the restaurant fed all its employees every night before the public came in for dinner. And for this struggling singer and dancer, that was her one meal of the day. 6 years ago this week, that former hat check girl was singing one of the biggest hits in the USA.
Would you get sick of being Madonna? She told Newsweek magazine, sometimes I just want to go to a movie and not have someone pull on my shirt. You know what I mean? And this might sound trite, but I can't go grocery shopping. A lot of times my secretaries don't get me what I want. And I think if I could just go myself, I'd get the right kind of cereal. Down 11, here's Madonna and Erotica.
American Top 40!
These are the 100 biggest hits of the past year. Next at 51, another hit from Madonna, Deeper and Deeper. Earlier this year, she had some interesting things to say about her career and her family.
I think my success has been a difficult thing for a lot of members of my family to sort of comprehend, because in a way I think it's fairly overwhelming. And I think for the most part they like to, well, it depends. Some, like for instance, my brother Christopher is very much involved in my career, so he very much understands everything that happens to me. Whereas I have other brothers, I have a really large family, and some of them keep their distance, My father tends to not really make a big deal about anything I do, which is a relief to me, because that means when I go home I don't get treated any different than anybody else. So I think they support me, but I think that just to sort of survive it all and deal with it, nobody makes a really big deal about it, which is good.
I can't help falling in love. Casey's Top 40.
Well, now we're up to the number 1 smash I'll remember. It's by Madonna, who'll long remember her recent rejection by a TV station. She offered to be their newscaster for a night, but they thought it was a prank. It happened last month when Madonna was sitting around her home in the Hollywood Hills with some friends watching the news on TV. Madonna became fascinated with the personal touch the newscasters were putting on their reports, and she decided it was something she wanted to try, not as a career, but just for one night. She wanted to see how it felt to do the news. So she had one of her assistants get the phone number of the news director at the station that they were watching. And then Madonna picked up the phone and called. When the news director answered, Madonna introduced herself and started to explain that she wanted to offer her services as newscaster for a night. But just a few sentences in, the skeptical news director cut her off. And with an angry voice, he told Madonna he was a busy man. There was a lot of news to cover, and he didn't have time for stupid practical jokes by Madonna wannabes. He told the superstar that whoever she was, she should grow up and get a life. And then he hung up. Not just on Madonna, but on what could have been quite a coup for his television station. This week, the superstar who couldn't convince that news director that she was herself has survey song number 26 on Casey's Top 40.
Casey's Top 40.
And that means we have a brand new #1 song in the USA on Casey's Top 40, and it's by a superstar who has a superstar of her own. Not on Hollywood Boulevard, but light years from our galaxy. And she's not the only one. You see, back in 1979, some people formed an organization called the International Star Registry. Their idea was this: there are billions and billions of stars in the universe. Most of them have no name at all. And there was no organization that was in charge of giving them names. So the folks who founded the registry started a service where for $45 you could put your name or someone else's name on a star. Over the years, stars have been named for all kinds of people, including celebrities like Tom Cruise, Dolly Parton, Barry Manilow, Johnny Depp, and Brooke Shields. Since no one owns the stars, there's no way of saying that the names are legally binding or not. But the people who have stars named after them do get a nice map of the heavens showing exactly where their star is located, along with a certificate. Several years ago, one of those certificates was sent as a gift to a singer and dancer from Michigan. A woman who's become a big star herself thanks to all the #1 hits she's had since 1983. She's the woman whose latest song has now become the biggest hit in the land. The brand new #1 song in the USA on Casey's Top 40 is Take a Bow, the 15th #1 for Madonna.
I've always been in love with you. Casey's Coast to Coast.
Well, now we're up to the latest hit from Madonna, a heavyweight on the charts who recently spoke in honor of the most famous heavyweight boxer in history. He was born in Louisville, Kentucky back in 1942. In 1960, at the age of 18, he won the Olympic gold medal for light heavyweight boxing. And in 1964, he became the heavyweight champion of the world. 15 years and many fights later, in 1979, Muhammad Ali retired. And then, sadly, several years later, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, a chronic illness that weakens the muscles and slowly destroys the nervous system. Since that time, he's not only fought his disease, he's also fought publicly to raise awareness of Parkinson's. Muhammad Ali has done so much that this June, the Parkinson's Disease Foundation held a special dinner in New York City to honor him. And the woman who was chosen to give the opening address that night was Madonna. It turns out that the superstar singer and dancer is one of Muhammad Ali's biggest fans. In her speech, she pointed out that they both came from nothing and achieved their dreams. She also told the audience that they've both gotten into lots of trouble for things they've said and controversial beliefs they've held. Madonna even admitted that she has more photos of Muhammad Ali hanging in her home than of anyone else, including her family. And her favorite photo is one the heavyweight champion autographed just for her. It's a picture of Ali standing in the ring after he knocked out his opponent. And the inscription reads, "To Madonna from Muhammad. We are the greatest." This week, Madonna's proving once again why some people say she's the greatest on the charts, as her 36th Top 40 hit climbed back up a notch to number 37.
Casey's biggest hits.
3 years ago this week, one of the biggest hits in the USA was Rain, by a superstar who says cooking is the thing she does worst. But there's one dish she's good at. It involves Rice Krispies. Madonna swears she's the sort of cook who can't even boil water. She says even her salads come out strange. She can't seem to cut up the lettuce right. But there's one dish she loves to make that she's so proud of, she's even served it at her birthday parties. The cereal box classic called Rice Krispies Treats, made using Rice Krispies brand cereal and marshmallows. Madonna says it's easy to make and everybody loves it. 3 years ago this week, everybody also loved a song of hers that was one of the biggest hits in the USA. Here's Rain by Madonna.
Casey's Top 40.
Now, over the years, we've heard about stars who have hired separate limousines or buses to carry their luggage. Well, recently, a superstar from Bay City, Michigan went one better. She hired a private jet. A few months ago, Madonna went to Europe for the opening of her movie musical, Evita. As is often done, the studio that made the film offered Madonna and her entourage the use of their own corporate private jet to get her there. But, as it turned out, Madonna doesn't travel light. First of all, she had to take dozens of Evita outfits with her for the several openings she had to attend. Of course, she also had to travel with her baby, Lourdes, and all her stuff. She also took along the baby's nannies and nurses and a variety of friends, makeup people, hair people, wardrobe people, managers, handlers, and the like. So many people that there simply wasn't room for all of Madonna's trunks on the Learjet that was carrying her to Europe. And so the film studio had to hire a second Learjet to carry Madonna's luggage and equipment. Just another day in the life of a superstar. This week, a song from that movie, Evita, is at number 23 on Casey's Top 40.
Number 10.
Holding Steady is Madonna, a singer-songwriter who wouldn't describe herself as a musician. She says, quote, "All my ideas are in my head. I'm more instinctual. I just say what sounds good and feels good," unquote. Well, Madonna should be feeling pretty good these days because a song she co-wrote and co-produced just became her 17th gold single. Here's Frozen. Well, now we're up to a song with a video based on one of the best-selling novels of the 90s, a novel that takes its readers into the secret world of the Japanese geisha. Madonna is one superstar who hates to repeat herself. Each of her music videos has a unique look, and her latest video is something really different. Madonna says that before she started working on the video for Nothing Really Matters, she read a book by author Arthur Golden titled Memoirs of a Geisha. The book has been on the bestseller list for 3 years now, with a huge following of readers fascinated by this journey into the so-called willow world of the geisha. Madonna was dazzled by the images in the novel, and she decided she wanted those images in her video. The character from the book she chose to be is Hatsumomo, the villainous geisha who's driven mad by her envy and need to be the best. And that's just what happens to Madonna, the geisha, in the video. Only in her case, it's the pressures of stardom that drive her mad. This week, the song for that video moves up 2 notches to number 23 on American Top 40. Here's Madonna with Nothing Really Matters.
America's Top Hits.
This week back in 1986, one of the top hits in the USA was Papa Don't Preach. It's by the superstar who earned praise for the song's video. Praise as a master of the lost art of silent acting. The video for Papa Don't Preach was shot on Staten Island. Madonna, who was 28 at the time, played a 16-year-old. And actor Danny Aiello played her father. In the video, there's a confrontation between father and daughter, and though Madonna doesn't speak a word, her technique dazzled the critics. One wrote that, quote, "If Madonna had been born in the era of the silent movie, she would have been a star to match Charlie Chaplin. She's capable of expressing dozens of emotions with nothing more than her face and her body," unquote. This week back in 1986, the song that led to that video was one of the top hits in the USA.
America's Top Hits.
This week back in 1985, one of the top hits in the USA was Angel. It's by Madonna, a superstar who regularly hires Madonna impersonators. Like Elvis, Madonna has inspired a legion of impersonators, and some of them have been so good they've actually appeared on the covers of national magazines pretending to be Madonna. Early in her career, Madonna realized these impersonators could be very useful. When she wanted to go out without being bothered by the press, she'd hire one of her impersonators to go out first. The press would follow the impersonator, and Madonna would be free to do what she wanted to do. This week back in 1985, she had one of the top hits in the USA, Angel. This week back in 1985, that was one of the top hits in the USA, Madonna with Angel.
Counting down the hits with Casey Kasem.